So this is my balcony, and it's actually morning today. It's Friday morning and I have some spare time. And you can hear the honking because there are traffic jams right now. So this is half built. I didn't set any glues, I didn't protect the wood in any way. And I'm using only scrap wood. I had some scrap timber. Basically it's just scrap piles from delivery boxes that we just tend to find here and there. And I used some scrap sandwich wood to build the entire structure. So this is where we're at. We're basically half done. What we need to do is I have to set it at a 45-degree angle, also for the sun, to heat it up most of the day, not just partially. And also to get the trays to fit perfectly. Let me show you what I mean. Right. So if it's, assume we're putting the tray there more or less parallel to the bottom and top, and as you can see it's not fitting properly. What you need to do is tilt it at a 45-degree angle and presto. So we need to build some sort of support structure from the back end. I also need to cut the glass for this front end, all in due time. But I want to complete the construction basically today, and we'll just get cracking. So in this initial build, what we have to do is still assemble 2 more rails for the nets. This is one of the nets here to follow, to rest upon, to be more accurate. Now, since I'm doing this sort of offhand, and I do like these offhand jobs because they do give you some challenges from time to time, and they're a lot more fun than the planned and sort of already pre-known, that you know what you're going to do, you know, this bolts go this hole and so on and so on. So I really enjoy this sort of improvised stuff. Let me set up the nets there for a second, I'll be back. Now that we have the nets, and you can see the nets are running parallel to the ground, you can see how much space we have. So basically the bottom one is touching the bottom, the top one allows the net to touch the top, or very near to the top. I still have holes to drill at the bottom and holes to drill at the top, and some netting to put so insects will not enter this chamber. And I do have to open everything up and seal it completely and show you the build once I'm done, using white acrylic sealant, because I don't want to allow insects to enter through the spacing here. And I have some decent gaps. Oh, this is a 2mm gap over there the ruler can actually enter. Right, so how do you put the rest of these units there? The simplest way is to calculate the spacing and then make some sort of a guide. This happens to be exactly the guide I need, and this is scrap wood again. So what do we do? Well, the spacing between these is 23mm, which means we'll have, and we have to divide it by 3 and omit the thickness of these lines. So basically what we have to do is we have to make a 5.3mm spacing, and this, by the way, just happens to be it. All I have to do is set my guide, put the next rack holder or mount on it, like so. And it is straight, it is leveled. So all I have to do now is just drill holes. I'm just placing this in. Sorry about that. It should fit flush. And it's going to be really nice and simple. You can take them out, clean them up. Unlike the previous setup, this is built to the size, the spec. So these fit in rather nicely. And the next things I want to do is make some holes at the top and bottom. Now that we remove these, I can show you the top. Now the top is fairly flat, as you can see. It's very simple. And what I want to do is make holes. Now the roof is there for just one reason, by the way. It's not there for cosmetics, it's not there for birds to nest in, and it's definitely not there just for the sake of beauty. It is there for one reason and nothing else. It's sitting above the vents. So we'll have those protected from dust and whatever else is falling off, birds landing on them, etc., etc. It's not designed to withhold the rain. I've been thinking about making holes. I do have this set to get this out of the way. I have this set of holes. Now drilling them takes quite a bit of time, and they're not big enough. I used 3 holes in the last one, and I wasn't all that happy with the result. It took about 2 days for everything to draw out properly, and now this is a smaller setup, and it's going to take it a longer time because less sun is impacting on this object, and the previous object was larger, considerably larger. So I was thinking about this, and it occurred to me that at the time all I had was these, and now I do have a Jackson. This is how I cut these boards. So what I'll do is I'll just mark a square or a rectangle, whatever I think best, and the nice thing about it is I can always expand it. Drill 4 holes using a standard 10mm drill bit and just connect these. I'll just try on a second one at the bottom. I'll get started. I'll do that off camera with your permission. Now we also have, bear with me, a bottom hole over there. What else do we have to do? Yeah, we have to take everything apart. The rails can stay. That's not a problem. Let me show you the back side. The back side is just a mount, basically. Very simple mount. If we're looking at it, so we have 3 buttons here. This is 1, 2, and 3 that device is standing on once it's tilted at a 45-degree angle, and this is a 45-degree angle, by the way. And these are the ones that hold it when it's sitting flush with the floor. So this is a pretty basic setup. I'm not expecting it to be super complex or stuff like that. And the reason I'm rebuilding it, 2 reasons. One, let me show you. This thing is, and I'm holding it with 1 finger, by the way, it is coming apart, literally. Last winter did not do any justice with it. So that's obviously the first reason. The second reason is because I wanted a dehydrator that's more compact, smaller, easier to hide, meaning I can put it in a concealed location, so during blizzards and storms and all that, it can stay out of harm's way, basically out of the water's way. And I will seal it. Now, discussing the holes at the bottom and the top, you can see now the top holes. I have used a double mesh, 2 nets, basically speaking, over here. And the reason for 2 nets, and they're just plainly glued, it works pretty well, by the way. You can see those now. And the reason why we make 2 layers of these is so ants won't get in there. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now with the new dehydrator, I'm using quite a few things from the old one. The nets, of course, the stainless nets are going to be reused, as well as these shelves. And I'm going to use other parts if I can. It's going to be a complex and very messy project, I can see that already, so I'll get my gloves on. Yes, well, I have installed it incorrectly. I put these, well, this should be the front, not the back end, so let's redo that. Things have been progressing slowly but surely. In the meantime, I've assembled these. These will hold the glass, so I won't have to disassemble and reassemble every time. I also have installed the sealant, but the biggest change is at the back. Let me show you. I have painted it black, and I do intend to paint all of it except the bottom, the top, and the roof black. There's a reason for that. First reason is that black absorbs more heat, so obviously we want this thing to heat up during sun hours. And the second reason is that it will protect it from rain. Now this is ridiculously a water-based paint, but once skewered it will harden. Sorry about the background noise. So bottom line, I think it's getting there. It's getting really well. I hope in a few days to finish the painting. I won't show that because, well, it's interesting as watching the paint dry in 2 coats. So really. And this paint is actually really nice. I'm pretty pleased with that. It dries in about 2-3 hours, and then you can do the second coat. The paint can cost me something like let's say about $10, but the primer is twice that much. Yeah, a bit more actually, something like 2.5 times. So I gave up on the primer. This is not an invested project. I don't want to do that and spend a lot of money, so $10 is okay, but not more than that. I'll continue the painting. I'll show you the final results in a few days. For me, for you, it's going to be a second or two. Welcome back. Well, we're almost done. Some of the changes, I don't know if you can see. There's a black tape around the perimeter. I don't know if you can see that. I painted it all black inside and out, except for the top and the bottom over there, but you can't see that from here. And actually there's only one thing that's missing, and that's the glass. I'm waiting for the glass. The glass has already been cut, and I just need to pick it up. So as you can see, the system is ready. It's up and running. Temperatures inside the system are about 45 degrees Celsius. One thing I'd like to show you guys, temperatures at the lower end of this device are lower than the higher end. The reason is that we have hot air cycling through and up the system. So if I take a measurement over there and the glass doesn't interfere, we're at, let's see, 43.7. Don't know if you can see that. Maybe like that. If I take a measurement, let's say mid-size, we're at 45 degrees Celsius, and the top, we're at 47 degrees Celsius. Hope you can see that. So this is sort of a proof that the system is working, but as the saying goes, the proof is in the pudding, so we'll have to wait and see. And these are actually looking like they're dehydrating now. You can see they're crimping a bit. Well, it is final. This is the final result, the final outcome. We now have a fully functional dehydrator. I'm very pleased to say so. The initial test with the yellow date was really nice. They dehydrated wonderfully. I had 2 dates there, so just went on just perfectly. So I'm very happy with that. So the temperatures in there are 10 degrees lower than in the previous dehydrator. That means 45 degrees Celsius instead of 55, which is good. It means there are more airflow running through the system, so it cools up a lot faster. So this is really good. I'm really pleased with that. There's another addition I didn't show you, and that's this stopper here for the glass, so I can actually get this open, and I can just let the glass rest over there. I also need to add some balance at the back end so it won't flip, but with some fruits in there it's going to be just fine. So all in all, it's working really nicely, and I'm very pleased. And this, in case you're wondering, is the lock. But there. Make sure the glass is firmly set against the rubber on the outside. It's been a really good build, and I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Have a sweet day.